fight against spam calls and messages, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has ordered telecom firms to move all telemarketing calls to a new system called the DLT, that's Distributed Ledger Technology, by September 30th. Now, as per TRAI, starting October 1st, telecom companies won't be allowed to send messages that include links that are not whitelisted.
That's right, Kitty. In fact, the government aims to crack down on surge in scam calls through this move, as scammers often use phishing links to steal sensitive financial information of customers. In fact, let's quickly go to Rucha, who's joining us from NDTV Profit. Rucha, take us through this big move by the telecom regulatory to crack down on spammers. What does this mean? Of course, Airtel also has begun the crackdown with its AI-powered software for spam detection. So take us through the details and what would it mean for consumers at large?
You're right. So thank you, Anchors. TRAI has asked all the access providers to block any SMS traffic containing any kind of links, often called as URLs or APKs, or even OTT links that have not been whitelisted. Now, let me talk to you about what is whitelisting. Well, whitelisting is a process wherein the senders register their links as approved, and only then they will be sent to the user of the access providers. Now, this policy will take effect from tomorrow, that is October 1st. Talking about various telecom providers, where Airtel has also recently launched a new AI-led initiative to detect such kind of spam and warn its customers that this is a spam call or this is a spam link. Now, earlier this month, the telecom operator Vodafone had also said that they will, leverage blockchain technology to launch such an SMS spam control system. So this is very highly, taken seriously by the TRAI, wherein earlier this month as well, the TRAI had blocked around 50 entities and disconnected over 2.5 lakh mobile numbers. So a lot of spam happening around SMS-led or call-led is trying to get curbed by the TRAI and different telecom providers as well. So good move for the consumers as well as the telecom industry as a whole.
This is definitely going to help the consumers who've been, facing this menace of spam calls and fraudulent calls. We've seen how this has been causing a lot of difficulty for the consumers here, but now TRAI has moved in with this new initiative that it has launched. Thank you so much, Rucha, for getting us all those details. Then now we've had this conversation with Airtel CEO Gopal Vittal also on this very issue. Listen into what he had to say.
Thanks so much, Mr. Vittal, for speaking to us. Firstly, give us an idea of the scale of this solution. What sort of sort of identification also are you getting from this sort of a solution?
Yeah. So this is a solution that we've been working on for the last 12 months. We have hundreds of data scientists that have actually been working on it. And what we've done is we have identified we've looked at every message that's appearing on our network. 1.5 billion messages get exchanged on our network every day. 2.5 billion calls get made on our network every day. So we look at every single one of those. We put them into an AI model which looks at over 250 parameters, complex parameters, many things, velocity of calling, frequency of calling, whether the device is being changed, whether KYC is in different names. And based on that, on a real-time basis, even before the call is connected, we are able to insert an alert on the dialer or on the message that this is a suspected spam. That, in my view, really puts the power back in the user's hands to make sure that they are protected.
Right. Will you also be working in tandem with existing solutions that are there, crowdsource solutions like Truecaller and also repository?
Those solutions are more narrow solutions because they need applications to be downloaded. This solution is ubiquitous. It works across, you don't need an application. It works for all of our smartphones on the network. It works for all our users, whether it's prepaid or postpaid, regardless of which geography they are. So it works for everybody.
We also have a few reactions that we got from consumers and victims. Kitty, let's listen in.
हाय, मेरा नाम पुष्पेंद्र है एंड मैं डिलॉयट में एज ए कंसल्टेंट वर्क करता हूँ. तो रिगार्डिंग स्पैम कॉल्स और स्पैम जो लिंक्स आते हैं, इसके बारे में इनफैक्ट मेरे साथ ही बहुत बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, बिकॉज डेली हम लोग को अलग अलग टाइप के मैसेजेस, अलग अलग टाइप के कॉल्स आते हैं. इनफैक्ट मेरे साथ भी हुआ है कि एक बार मेरे को फेडेक्स से कॉल आया था दैट आपके पास एक ऐसा अननोन पार्सल है जिसमें कि बहुत अनवांटेड मटेरियल्स है, ड्रग्स एंड ऑल दैट हैं, एंड फिर उसके बाद आपको बोला जाता है कि हम आपको एक लिंक सेंड करेंगे एंड उसके बाद आपको यू हैव टू डू द पेमेंट टू गेट सारे पुलिस वालों के चक्कर से आप हट सकते हो। तो ये वाला केस मेरे साथ भी इनफैक्ट हुआ था। फिर मैं साइबर सेल गया, फिर मैंने वहाँ पे मैंने रिपोर्ट लिखवाई। देन वहाँ पे आई गेट टू नो कि इट इज़ अ वेरी जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम एंड इट इज़ अ बहुत ही ऑफनली प्रॉब्लम होता है। ये इस टाइप के कॉल्स, इस टाइप के मैसेजेस का लोगों के पास बहुत फ्रिक्वेंट आते रहते हैं। देन वहाँ पे मेरा केस रजिस्टर किया गया एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड मैं इस बात से अब अलर्ट रहता हूँ। एज अ कंज्यूमर एंड एज अ यूज़र आई वुड से कि ये बहुत ही वेलकमिंग स्टेप है, बिकॉज ये एक काफ़ी बहुत बड़ा जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम है कि जहाँ पर हम लोग के पास रैंडमली कहीं से भी कॉल्स आते हैं, लोग इंटरनेट कॉल्स कर देते हैं। आई गेट 10 डिफरेंट कॉल्स फ्रॉम द 10 डिफरेंट कंपनीज फॉर द क्रेडिट कार्ड्स एंड ऑल दैट। तो अगर ऐसा कोई रेगुलेटरी गवर्नमेंट लेके आती है जिससे कि ये स्पैम कॉल्स एंड इसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा चेक रखा जा सके, then it would be highly welcoming for the.
All right, let's go to Anuj on this. Anuj is joining us from Mumbai. Anuj, TRAI's new initiative as far as tackling spam is concerned, yet another initiative. In fact, this is, of course, an unending problem we face on a daily basis. So are consumers that you spoke to confident that they will finally get some reprieve from these spam calls?
येईल असेच सर मी सांगतो तुम्हाला कधी बोलायचं काय बोलायचं 2 मिनिटं सांग.
Anuj, if you can hear me, this is yet another initiative to tackle spam by TRAI. This is a problem we face on a daily basis. Take us, break down this, entire initiative for us. And you spoke to consumers. Are they confident that they will finally get some reprieve?
Well, yes, I spoke to a few consumers and I've got one more. So before we get down to breaking down, this entire new scheme that has been put in place by the telecom regulators, we'll try and talk to them about what their individual experiences would be. सर आप बताइए कि जो हमें बहुत सारे स्पैम कॉल्स आते हैं या फिर स्पैम मैसेजेस आते हैं जो काफ़ी सारे फ्रॉड्यूलेंट लिंक्स वगैरह हमको भेजते हैं, तो इसके बारे में आपका एक्सपीरियंस कुछ रहा है?
नहीं काय नाही, मला एवढं शिक्षण नाही माझं.
Sorry?
शिक्षक इतना मी पढ़ा नहीं है.
Okay.
9वीं तक.
So we see that the experience of the consumer at large that as I spoke to them has been quite interesting when it comes to these kind of calls. And just to break down what approach the telecom regulators is going to have, they issued a notice as early as 20th of August, making it very clear that one of the add-ons on the several schemes that they are putting in place is the fact that the whitelisting process for all the unregistered users will also begin, which basically means in simple language is that there are several entities who use the access providing platforms to send their messages in bulk. Now, according to the 2018 regulations, sending messages in bulk, requires a certain form of template. And if you do not follow that template, action can be initiated against you. But, to make it even more specific, what the TRAI and the Department of Telecommunication, along with, of course, other experts are trying to do here is that they are trying to create a platform where all the telemarketers' call can be firstly brought down to, and secondly, if any sender, any entity is sending APK link, URL link or any OTT links, well, these might sound like some jargons, but these are just some of those links which, we get in bulk in our messages in some way or the other. They need to be verified from the, from the access providing, from the service providing
platforms. And we do
platforms.
also understand, Anuj, at the same time, the telecom regulator has also asked for views. It has sought views on whether higher tariffs can be imposed or hefty fines could also be imposed on telecom companies who flout these rules, who are not able to contain these telemarketers, and there is a possibility that the offenders could be made liable.
Yes, indeed, there is a possibility. And see, 1st of November is going to be an important date because up until then, as we've been saying, that one important term that comes into picture because of this is vetted calls or vetted links for that matter. Now, this basically means that these are the links where the sender can be traced back to. And that was one of the things mentioned in the earlier notice that was given out on October 20th when the TRAI stated that all the links and all the content that is shared using the access providing access service providing platforms need to be vetted, and they also asked for the telcos, they also asked for the representatives of these companies to get back to them with a message on how can these hefty fines be posed on those who do not necessarily comply with the changes introduced by TRAI.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anush, for getting us all those details there. Well, so November 1st, I beg your pardon, October 1st is that when this all kicks in, and today is the deadline, the last date here. We do understand, well, the TRAI has also sought views on whether higher tariffs could also be imposed on telecom companies in case they flout the rules. Well, all that will be clear by the end of the day, we do understand. We also have Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary, founder and CEO of CyberOps, joining us on the broadcast here. Thank you so much, Mr. Chaudhary, for speaking to NDTV here. We do understand telecom regulator TRAI has been making efforts to counter spam, and over 1 crore fraudulent mobile connections, as per the telecom regulator, have also been disconnected to check fraudulent calls. How do you think this new move will help?
First of all, it's a good initiative. I'll say more and more telecoms should come up with a solution, like Airtel has come up with a solution, because it's a national problem, and mostly citizens are suffering from it. Those who are aware, they are also suffering. Those who are not aware, they are also suffering, because there's a lack of education as well regarding to spams and spam calling and cyber crimes and cyber frauds. But along with this, there are certain challenges. I think they'll still be there, even though such kind of regulations and such kind of functionalities and features will come. Challenges are like these criminals, then they'll keep on updating their modus operandi. They'll come up with the new schemes and new plans. And what about the messages which will go to WhatsApp? Because WhatsApp says that we are end-to-end encrypted and we won't be able to read any message. So they won't be able to block such kind of messages, because they send such messages in schemes in WhatsApp. They send links on WhatsApp. They make WhatsApp calls. So this will again be a problem and challenge for the agencies. And in India, what problem we are facing is these criminals, they are not scared of laws, because in Indian IT, these kind of activities, and they come under a bailable offense, and that is why they get easily bailed from the police stations, and they're not afraid. So that is also a problem. We should have a strong laws in place after Indian IT Act Amendment 2008. We are expecting new amendment to come soon, and so that heavy penalties and heavy, it should come under a non-bailable action, basically, non-bailable section.
Right, Mr. Chaudhary, even as many efforts are being made, of course, multiple efforts have been made in the past as well, but what about awareness per se? How can consumers better protect themselves from these threats? What advice, as a cyber expert, would you give to users who regularly receive these kind of calls and messages? How can consumers, how can us ensure we don't fall prey to these spam messages?
So, as I said that since you are also saying about the awareness part, awareness tries also making awareness. They keep sending messages that you won't receive any calls from TRAI or Department of Telecom or other agencies, banks, RBI. They all are trying their level best. But the problem with most of the people is when they receive message from TRAI or DOT, Department of Telecom or RBI or banks, then they ignore such kind of messages. They don't read messages. They ignore it. And at times people believe that, okay, maybe this will happen to someone, not to me. So this is also because of many people are overconfident and they do not put themselves into that situation. That is a problem. So the easy tip and advice from me will be that if someone is demanding money, whatsoever the reason is, so it's a scam, and they have to report to cybercrime portal. 1930 is the helpline number where they can report, and cybercrime.gov.in is the website where they can report. So if someone is demanding money no matter what, or someone is demanding your ID proofs, these are scams and it's a red flag. As simple as that.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, Radhika, as we've been talking about it with Mr. Chaudhary here also, we've all gone through something like this. I mean, I've also fallen prey to such a scam, once before. I mean, I had gone to the police station, I had gone to the higher-ups, but nothing really happened. They couldn't really do anything about it. All right. Well, you've been talking about, Mr. Chaudhary, about penalties that can be imposed on telecom companies also who fail to act against these erring telemarketers. They should be made liable, in your view?
I'll say that, see, a new policy should come up wherein not only because telecom company is one, another part is the vendors who are providing the SIM cards, who are making available these SIM cards wherein they are not following certain regulations. That is also a problem, and because they escape, they take good money and they give SIM cards in bulk without doing proper verifications also. And there are incidents wherein we are facing regular issues of SIM swap frauds, wherein someone will get hold of your SIM card, you will get suddenly you will get no network in your mobile phone and you won't be able to make calls or receive calls, and someone else will activate your SIM card. So there are many loopholes in the system as well. So those loopholes should also government should look up to, DOIT should look up to, Department of Telecom should look up to, I mean to say. And other part apart from this is heavy penalties with respect to the Indian IT Act as well, because in Indian IT Act, if we'll come up with some strong laws, then only these scamsters or these fraudsters will get afraid of, because if they'll get easy bail, then obviously they'll come out of the police station and they are not afraid of going to the jail and judicial custody. So that is a problem, and TRAI and other regulatory bodies, they should also register cases from their end, because a common person or a citizen, if they are visiting the police station, as you well said, they are not being entertained. Majority of cybercrime cases, say as per my experience, more than 98% cybercrime cases are not getting registered, and no one is investigating those cases. That is also another reason who is promoting these kind of scams.
Absolutely.
Right, Mr. Chaudhary. Very interesting point being made there, Kitty, by Mr. Chaudhary, that, there are dime a dozen cases, so this is not even being entertained by law enforcement agencies. Also, Mr. Chaudhary, I just want to ask, what about other countries? If you compare the regulatory measures as far as other countries are concerned, how do you compare that with India? Are there any best practices that we as citizens or even as regulatory body can follow when compared to a regulatory mechanism in other countries?
Unfortunately, still, even though whatever regulations they have, they are still facing problems. Similar kind of problems going on in UK, in US, in Australia, in Canada. So they are also struggling with such kind of problems, even though they have good regulations with them. But yes, cases in bulk which are happening, and there are many call centers in India, so who are doing such kind of scams abroad, wherein they are making calls, they are giving them schemes, they are because such kind of calls are being routed through multiple countries. Those countries are blocking them on a regular basis. So this is something good which they are doing, but still they somehow get a different calling routes from different countries. So because there are many countries, it's a global issue as well. So almost a majority of countries, they need to come up and they need to get united against such kind of scamsters and fraudsters, and they should come up with a joint solution. It's not a single country can come up with the entire solution and they can protect their citizens.
Okay, you're saying that it's time for a joint solution, that everybody must come together and find a joint solution to this problem. And that's not just prevalent in India, but in other countries also. Of course, they had their own mechanisms, but there is much in place, but there is much more that needs to be done in this regard. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chaudhary, for speaking to NDTV and sharing your views and information with us and our viewers here.